a case got dropped into their lap that they know is going to get incredible media attention for the only time in their career, and they're arguing it like it's the OJ case. When you watch that clip, you can't believe how hard they're going at it.
Fore-play presented by Barstool Sports, also presented by Chevrolet. I am out here in Colorado, and I am joined by my co-host Trent Ryan and Dan Rappaport. We are Rigsy-less today. Fellas, how are you doing on this fine Thursday episode of Fore-play Golf Podcast?
I'm doing great. You are in Colorado. You have a different background. You appear to be in a child's bedroom. I don't know where you are or what you're doing, but
it's a game room.
It's actually a game room, dude.
It's actually a game room with a nice little setup, but my microphone wasn't working. So I'm going to be leaning in like this, kind of talking. Yeah, it's a weird setup. I'm on the road. It's a road game for me, but I'm feeling good. I love Colorado, man. There's something about waking up and drawing the drapes. You know, you pull them away and then you see the mountains. That's like.
Are you in Denver proper, or where are you exactly?
Outside Denver, like 30 minutes.
I grew up going to Denver all the time as a kid. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place.
You're playing
Colorado is like number one for me in terms of.
Yeah,
I have family out there
Colorado
as well.
Golf Club today.
Wow,
with a guy named Alex Jones. And I said, So I said, right, because he's a member, and I don't know. So I was like, all right. And I actually wrote, "Are you the Alex Jones? LOL." And he goes, "Ha, nope, just a normal guy from Nebraska." But I get that a lot. I was like,
I'm
dude,
sure. Like, how are you paying your fees with that $1 billion lawsuit?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you got to get a lot of looks at.
It's kind of fucked because that's such a common name, you know, Alex Jones, and like those are two just very common names. And now there's probably 150 Alex Joneses who have to deal with that every single day.
It's like Michael Bolton.
Yep, Michael Bolton. What would you say your favorite song of his is? I guess I sort of like them all.
I haven't watched Office Space in a long time.
Danny, I know you're going to kind of lead point here on some of the topics. I talked to Alex Bush last night. I said, I'm not a topics guy. I'm not a guy that's going to come to this podcast and bring a lot of topics in the golf world. That's why we bring in the heavy hitters, bring in the Dan Rappaports, the journalists of the world, the Big J's, the Northwesterns. I do want to say I am golfing today. I'm excited about it. Playing in different conditions, playing in thin air, high altitude, as opposed to like that thick Long Island, you're hitting right through humidity. It's just a different game, different grasses. It's weird. We're just regular guys that play golf for a living, I guess, at this point. And we have to deal with like professional golf issues where you're playing different types of turf and chipping areas and greens and grain. And it's like, that's something I never thought I'd have to ever assess about my golf game. But it's like you go out to a range around here, you're like, this is different. And the ball jumps off differently. And like chipping is a whole different strike. It's fucking weird.
It's hard to trust. The first round at altitude is really hard to trust that you're going to hit you're going to hit 9-iron like 170 or 165, whatever it is. And I feel like the first round, it's always just like, you don't quite believe it. And I know you're going to airmail the first like 3 greens today and be like, all right, finally, I got to trust this.
So do you should I just aim for the front of every single green, just pick that club and see where we go from there? Right. If I have like 155 and that's usually a 9, maybe it's like a soft 8 or like a stepped on 9. Like, am I just aiming like 145 automatically? Right. Like, am I just taking that 9 act like it's a stock
10%, 9? Like basically 10%. So 155 is going to play like 140. So you're going to hit pitching wedge 155. You're going to hit driver like 300 yards. You remember when we did the Sanctuary, it was like the most bizarre. Yeah. I mean, that place is still like playing golf on the moon. This place that you're playing today, I think, is going to be a lot more like a normal golf course. But that course was like driver at the green or 7-iron. Yeah, it's a big place.
So yeah, I'm super excited. I don't know about you guys. I don't know what you guys got going on this weekend, but that's what I got going on.
I'm coming to Denver tonight. I'm flying out there.
That's right.
We're filming a Breaking 90 there tomorrow or today when we're recording or when this comes out. I don't know how the altitudes are going to affect me. I'm sure it'll screw up my entire round, but we'll see.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I think this is it.
Really?
I think this is it.
Why?
Unless are you going to play like 7,000 yards?
No.
So then it's going to you're going to
3.
Right. So you're going to play 6,300 yards, and it's going to play like it's 5,700 yards. You know. I think if you're smart about it, I think
it's
if
really
you come,
that big of a difference.
Yes,
I know that's what they
dude.
talk about. I know they talk about Coors Field.
Yes.
They talk about all that stuff.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Like, you're not going to believe it, but it is. Like, you're going to have a lot of wedges into greens, I think. Like, I think this might be it. I think if you're smart about it, if you let yourself believe the actual thing and don't go long, I think this could be it. I really do.
I really appreciate that. I'm willing to give it a go. We're gonna do it and we'll see. But I'm always curious about that. Like, people talk nonstop about the altitude, and I'm always like, is it that different? But it must be. It really must be.
It 100% is.
This episode of fore-play is presented by Chevy. With golf season in full swing, Chevy wants to help you make the most of every drive. And the all-electric Blazer EV's bold design and dynamic performance make it the perfect electric vehicle to get you to the course in style and comfort. Dan, I'm out here in Colorado, and there's a lot of big truck guys out here. They haul a lot of things. There's a lot of Chevy diehards in Colorado. Even the commercials of Chevy, you see them kind of like maneuvering around rocks, and they're pulling and they're towing and they're doing all these things. And I had a long conversation about the Chevy Silverado EV, because I had a chance to drive it during a commercial once. And I thought maybe it was going to be like we're not into that. And they love the technology out here. They want all of it. Like, these big, strong working guys that build houses in like the southern part of Colorado, and they drive 150,000 miles every 2 years. Like, they want all the technology they can get, the towing. They want all the infotainment systems. They love it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sacrifice the sort of ethos of the truck. It's just like a truck on steroids. You get all the benefits of the Silverado with all of the technology of the EVs, and like you said, it's like a spaceship in there. So I can totally it's an innovation but without losing the soul of the truck.
Right, and then now you go to the Blazer, which is a much more, a suburbs type car. You see it and you're like, whoa, what did the neighbor just get? You're you're seeing this beautiful, shining, glistening new Blazer EV with a 17.7-inch standard diagonal display screen. No other competitor offers a larger screen. Plus, we've talked about this a lot, the prestigious honor of being named Motor Trend's 2024 SUV of the Year by Motor Trend. They judge big, small, gas, hybrid, electric vehicles at luxury SUVs. Blazer EV beat them all. With the Blazer EV's unique styling, comfort-driven interior, incredibly smooth ride, and responsive handling, Chevy has teed up the perfect electric vehicle to help you get anywhere you want to be.
So golf-wise, we'll start with Mr. Scottie Scheffler. So there was, we thought this was kind of over, I think, right? There was a report that came out, I think it was Sunday morning, from Kevin Van Valkenburg of No Laying Up, that said that someone familiar with the prosecutor's office thinking was the words he said. Someone familiar with their thinking said they're going to drop the charges. Scottie's lawyer said that's not true. So did you guys see the clip of him in court?
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting. It was like they were going at it. Like, the prosecutor is like, he wants to prosecute this guy.
I did watch the clip, and this is their Super Bowl. I feel like I was watching an episode of Better Call Saul. A case got dropped into their lap that they know is going to get incredible media attention for the only time in their career, and they're arguing it like it's the OJ case. When you watch that clip, you can't believe how hard they're going at it. And I get that some of the charges are pretty serious, but it seems like everybody's okay, except for that one guy's pants. But they are really, really arguing this thing, because I think there is a part of them that knows that this clip's going to go on Twitter. It's not like that traffic ticket they had 2 weeks ago that nobody gives a fuck about. This is Scottie Scheffler now, and this is going to have some eyeballs on it.
Yeah, they were really going after it. That was a funny scene. And honestly, the judge, like when Scottie's lawyer's like, obviously he was only here for X amount of days, and then the judge is like, I have no idea how long Scottie Scheffler was in town. He's like, okay, judge, but he left yesterday after he's back in Texas. Like, you could just tell it's not going to be as easy as I think everyone thought. I think that they got to go through a legitimate process here, and you have to try and win this thing.
I mean, again, it's all speculation here. We're a speculation-friendly podcast. I think he probably could come to some sort of agreement, right, of some lesser charge. But his lawyer said, we're not interested in any sort of deal here because Scottie didn't do anything wrong. So unless the prosecutor drop. This thing could go to trial, which would be something else. They did open an investigation into whether the police followed the right protocols during this arrest. So it kind of feels like, I feel like the case is like caught up in a system where they don't really have control anymore, right? Like where they would love and they being, the chief of police or whatever, the mayor of the city, they would love for this to just go away. But a little pesky thing called the American justice system, they can't just be like, this is done. Like it's already gone too far. Once that mugshot went out there, once that charge went out there, it started a series of events where it's sort of out of their hands right now. And I wonder what Scottie's thinking, because he probably thought like, all right, this is just going to be like, he said on Sunday, or Saturday, I think it's going to get handled pretty quickly. It doesn't appear that it is. I mean, there's still time. They moved the arraignment back to June 3rd, so it gives them another sort of week and a half, 10 days to drop this thing. But I'm not sure it's going to be as simple as they thought it was going to be.
Is there a tournament on June 3rd? Is he going to have to miss any golf?
It's the Memorial.
Yeah.
He's got to be there. That was one of the debates, right? To do it remotely or have to be in there. And they wanted to get it done that day. And now they're trying to push it back, or the prosecutors are trying to push it back. And they're saying like, this guy, it's one of those situations where they keep wanting to say like, do you know who this is? And like, we can't just have him be a normal human being. And the justice system doesn't really allow for that. Like you're saying.
I just wonder, because I remember, there's been cases like this in the past where sometimes the defendant doesn't have to be there. It just has to be the lawyer. I know nothing about law or what this is going to take, but I do wonder if Scottie's going to have to show up to every single arraignment and every single little like, all right, this is what we're doing. Like he wasn't at the clip that I saw. He wasn't there, and they were talking about pushing back the arraignment. So I just wonder what he has to actually be involved in. We almost need to get does anybody know a lawyer? I don't know any lawyers that we could get on and be like,
my wife is a lawyer, but she's fucking annoying and she likes to talk about how much she's a lawyer. So I'm definitely not having her on this podcast. 100% now.
That's fair.
But do you remember when Kobe way back in the day would like fly in from Colorado actually to like playoff games and stuff? Cause like he had to be at court, obviously a little bit of a different situation. He was being tried for an extremely serious charge, but it's not impossible that like, Scottie's like, he plays his practice on Monday. He flies back to fucking Kentucky. That guy probably hates Kentucky. And then has to fly back to the golf tournament. And I think the longer it goes on, because the public opinion is already so pro Scottie, I think the longer it goes on, the more like of a legend that he becomes. And there was Xander was on PMT and said that like they already changed the group chat in their players chat to the picture of the group chat to Scottie's mugshot. Like that's kind of his jam right now. And the longer this goes on, it's probably worse for him on a personal level, but on a public image level, the PIP is got to be locked up at this point.
Oh, it's his. It's definitely his. I really think this is just going to come down to like Scottie's going to donate $200,000 to a local hospital and he's going to have community service. Like we're really playing this thing out. Like he's not going to go to prison.
No,
Scottie Scheffler's not going to prison.
No, this is just about paying a fine or something. Like they just want something out of this. They want to be able to say that they tried him as a regular U.S. citizen and not some like holier than thou athlete that just gets to, say this is who I am. Look at my tour card. I'm not going to show up, right? Because if any other,
I guess at the end of the day is probably the right thing to do. But for Scottie, it's going to be a headache.
I still can't believe they got him in a jumpsuit. That's the thing that like my buddies who were all police officers up here in New York, or up in New York, like don't understand how that even happened. Like within 30 minutes, the guy was in an orange jumpsuit. Like they were like, dude, if that happened on Long Island, like that's just not happening. Like for a traffic thing, like there's no chance this guy's getting in a jumpsuit that fast. And also there's no chance it's getting online that quick. Like if you get arrested in Suffolk County or Nassau County, Long Island, like the news has to like go through a whole process to get that mugshot. Like they got to like reach out to the police. They got to like sign a bunch of documents. Like it's not as easy as like some of these other states are. They just throw it on that website and just like everyone can just see it. And it's like throwing it up on Instagram feed. That was within minutes, dude.
It felt very showy. And we've seen celebrities, athletes get arrested all the time over the years. And their mugshots are in the clothes that they were wearing when they got arrested.
Tiger.
To throw someone in an orange jumpsuit it's an elevation that I don't know if it was completely necessary. Seems like it wasn't.
I don't think Tiger's in a jumpsuit. I
No,
think
he's
Tiger's
not.
No, he's
like
in a
a
white T-shirt.
He's in a white shirt. Yeah,
Yeah,
so they
you
really,
have to-
they really, yeah.
Yeah, you have to. That is a decision. That's a conscious decision by the arresting officers and the processing guys at the station, being like, "All right, we're going to put this guy in an orange jumpsuit." It did seem crazy.
Yeah, it was certainly a they had their moment and they didn't let it go. A lot of debate about Valhalla on the internet these days. What did you guys think? A couple days after it, what did the architecture guys they hate that place, and it was very one dimensional. The Andy Johnsons of the world are hammering the golf course. Him and Brandel got into it a little bit on Twitter. Brandel said, it's 6 for 6 for drama, talking about Valhalla, the tournaments that it's hosted. And 2008 Ryder Cup was not a snooze fest. But I love when Brandel gets into troll mode. But just think of how good it would be if they cut all the trees down as well as the rough, so players could chase angles and have more options around the greens. To which Andy Johnson responded, "I find it utterly amazing your continued attempt discrediting of anyone who cares about golf architecture. Your lack of understanding of the subject leads to a massive blind spot in your analysis of the sport." What did you guys think? Was it did the lack of sort of shot values, or was the super low scoring, did that like bother you, or did you feel like it was an entertaining finish and everyone, it kind of delivered on what it's supposed to do?
I think the leaderboard helps it for sure. I mean, if one guy ran away with it at 24 under par and everyone else was at 17 or whatever, it's just a very boring finish. A lot of birdies, no drama, no one's getting into any trouble. Sure, I think I'd say that was probably a huge miss, but the fact that it came down to a guy needing to make a putt on the last hole, how can you argue anything against that delivering? I mean, it's an entertainment product at the end of the day. It's on national television. It's Sunday of a major. People just want to see who's going to win. Is this guy going to win, or is this guy going to win? It's like watching a horse race coming down to the finish. Like, that's all you really care about. You think the general public on Sunday were worrying about, like, man, like, look at this easy layup spot, or like, look at 13. Like, there's no shot. Like, I just think they're like, who's going to win? That's all you're looking at your phone. You're eating popcorn. You have chips and dip. You're not worrying about the course architecture. Sure, there's a time and place for that. There's people out there that can have those arguments that go out to nobody on Twitter. But like the general, when you're sitting in a boardroom and you're like, how do we make a product that's good enough to put on CBS from fucking 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 o'clock at night that the whole country is going to watch? What is that? What kind of venue is going to bring that type of energy and entertainment? And they've noticed that Valhalla just brings it. Will they ever go back there now? I don't know. I mean, someone was literally murdered outside the gates of it. I think there's gonna be a lot of reasons why they don't go back to that place. I for one, I thought it was pretty cool. I like watching things that get tight up at the top.
Yeah, I do think we're talking about the less than 1% of people who are having these discussions. I'm not saying it's not a worthy discussion. I'm sure it is, and in those circles, it's incredibly important. There's also, you got to think with the general public, there's no through line with each major or with each PGA championship. They're not looking at them all in a row. They're literally just looking at the 2024 PGA championship. And then when the next PGA championship rolls around, they're not thinking about what it was like at Valhalla. It's what Frankie said. They're just like, who's going to win this tournament? I wonder who's going to win. Who's going to make the putt on the last hole, or who's going to make the most birdies? Again, it's probably a worthy conversation. Like, where is the sport going in terms of like, what do we want these scores to be at the big tournaments? But in terms of, do people actually care about that? The general public is it's a no.
Yeah, this has actually been kind of a learning experience for me, like going from my old job to my new job. My old job, I was very much like in this golf bubble, like this inside golf bubble where like this is the currency was golf Twitter, and like, this sort of insular world. And then moving over, to Barstool, it's been a lot more of like, it's just not that serious, kind of moving out of that 1%. And one of the things that happened on site this week was another reminder of just how different golf Twitter is from real life. If golf Twitter, those hats that said Halla on them, Halla,
yeah,
those were on golf Twitter. The single, like, if you wore that hat, you're the biggest loser who's ever lived on the face of the planet. You're a cuck. You're embarrassing. The number one most common hat I saw by far on the grounds, sold out, was the Halla hat. And Max Homa said this too in his pre-tournament press conference. They asked him, what's your state of what's the state of pro golf with the fans? The fans seem to be fed up. And he said, look, you spend a lot of time online, you're going to get the impression that everything is falling apart and that it's horrible and that the fans are. But when I'm on site, these fans are incredible, and it feels like everyone's enjoying it. So there's this massive gap between what's going on golf Twitter and what's going on in real life, and those Halla hats for some reason just really fucking hammered that point home for me,
dude. It does seem. And it's like this in almost everything. It's basketball, it's football, it's grilling. It's at the top 1% that loves the thing the most seem the least like inviting to the people who want to actually watch the sport. But it's not the actual pulse of the sport. Like, it's exactly what you're saying. And I didn't even know about those Halla hats. I mean, I saw them when I was out at the tournament, and I was like, oh, that's a cool hat. I didn't realize it had caused a small war in golf Twitter. And you do have to realize, and sometimes I feed into like, it feels like everything's falling apart. They got to get this thing together. They got to get Live and the PGA Tour together, or this thing's going to go away. Like, I think there's corrosive aspects of what's going on with no deal between the PGA Tour and Live. But on the larger scale, golf is probably okay. People are still, the crowds at Valhalla were huge. The ratings, I think, were up. Like, things are probably going to be okay. But there's just a certain percentage of people, and sometimes we fall into that, most times not, where we are so worried about what's going on that we think it's going to end tomorrow, when chances are this sport's going to keep going regardless of what happens.
Did you know that you can get tickets to a New York Yankees game against the Seattle Mariners this week in New York for $15 on Game Time?
Yankees are hot. Yankees are hot.
Yankees are hot.
Alive.
Arguably the best, most skilled and full team that I've seen since 2009, since the early 2000 years Yankees. This is a real New York Yankees team. They've got a lot of pop. They've got just really great chemistry. It just feels like the last couple of years are really starting to make a difference in this team right now. You can also see Tyler Childers at Madison Square Garden. He's playing 2 nights, Tuesday and Wednesday. You can get him for $30 on the Game Time app. Justin Timberlake is going to Madison Square Garden. I'm seeing he's going to MSG and he's going to Barclays Center and Prudential. You can get into the Justin Timberlake concert at the Barclays Center for $64 on the Game Time app. That's right. With Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, finding tickets for less has never been easier. They have flash deals for sudden discounts. They have zone deals for when you're feeling flexible, and their lowest price guarantee, which means that if you can find the same seats for less anywhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So what are you waiting for? That's an out of control deal. Like, they're guaranteeing you're going to get the lowest price, because they're saying if you find something else that's lower, they'll just credit you 110% of the difference. So please make sure you go to that Yankee game, go see that event, take your family out, take your loved one out. That's what life is all about, is seeing events, going to plays, going to concerts. Go see the talent in this world. Don't just sit at home and do nothing and waste your time. There may not be a tomorrow. You got to live today. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets and going to those events with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code 4 for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The best players playing with the best players, it delivers. So it's like, if they don't figure out how to do that, you're only going to have that 4 times a year and once every 2 years. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna generate enough momentum. When you have it, all the players and all these huge tournaments, when they're all together, it just that's why golf is what it is. So, and the thing that I hated so much, and that's happening right now because the Live versus PGA Tour thing is so politicized now, that if you root for one guy or don't, Trevor Immelman went off on people about this, where he's like, I don't understand that when you when you talk about one person, maybe not in the best light. Like, if you say like, oh, I don't really like Bryson, they're like, you fucking hate Live. Like, I don't even know like how that's possible. Like, what, like if you don't like Patrick Cantlay, do you just hate the PGA Tour? I mean, isn't that what sports are? Aren't you allowed to like and dislike certain players? You're not talking about the entirety of the whole system. And then like the thing that I hate is when you're watching something like a major, like a PGA Championship, and you're like, this is amazing. Look, it's Bryson versus Xander, and everyone's like, yeah, you're shitting on Live. Yeah, isn't it like? You're not allowed to root for this now. It's like, what are you talking about? This is a major. This is always how it's always been, and it always will be, right? Like, this is just, if the best guys keep winning majors and they keep getting in and they're on Live, you can't say anything like that. This is just what golf is now. It's not PGA. It's not LIV. It's just what golf is. Let me enjoy that.
Yeah, it really does feel, though. I think you're right, Frank. Like it already feels, Bryson, his post after one of his many posts after the tournament was like, I'm locked in for Pinehurst. It feels like what happens in between now and Pinehurst is just sort of irrelevant, like to some extent. They've got the Memorial in a couple weeks, and I just don't know if it will have the same juice because these majors keep delivering. Like the majors, as we've talked about, have emerged as one of the big winners in all of this, because like you said, it's only 4 times a year where all these guys get together, and it was so electric watching Bryson compete against Scottie and compete against Sander, and we're not really going to get that again until Pinehurst number 2. And so it just and with how quickly they come now, it's almost like, it just the whole golf calendar is and it's always been that way. The majors have always had outsized importance, but now it's even more. It's even greater. And like with Scottie playing so well, but like you want to see how he does against the LIV guys. Like Scottie goes out and wins the Memorial, it'll be awesome. People will talk about it and stuff for sure, but it's what happens at Pinehurst that really matters now. And that's why the PGA Tour, I think, is, a lot of people are sort of concerned. This guy, Mark Flaherty, another guy, resigned from the policy board. Did you guys see that?
I did.
Another resignation. My sources, I've been, doing a little digging, are that these guys are just kind of tired of it. They're just kind of tired of it. They feel like, there's not a lot of movement. The players have a majority on the board. So non-player participation isn't nearly as important. And I just don't know how you can see two of those 5 directors, right? So 40% of the independent directors have resigned in the last 2 weeks. These negotiations seem to be, Jordan Spieth and Cantlay and Tiger, continue to say the right things about we're moving forward, but they're dropping like flies. I don't know how that's not concerning.
Where would you say Mr. Flaherty falls in terms of pro deal or anti deal?
I mean, I don't know. I know he's on the board of Cantlay's foundation, so that, there's some sort of relationship there, but it's been such a revolving door. Like the guys who aren't the players just go and leave and come and leave. And it just feels like the only constant are the players. And it feels sort of player driven at this point, which is really fascinating, because I think there are a lot of other pros who are not on the board, Lucas Glover being kind of the loudest voice right now, who's like, they don't tell us how to hit 7-irons. We should not be telling them how to make business deals. And it seems like a lot of these guys, why else would they be resigning?
Yeah, you need a good mix of both, would be what I would say in terms of the negotiations. You don't want to completely lock out the player aspect of it. You want to know what they think and how they feel and what direction they want this thing to go. But there is an aspect of what Lucas is saying where they're golfers, I'm not putting them down. They're the best golfers in the world, but they're not negotiators.
Could you imagine the NBA players? Like if the NBA was going to do some massive deal,
any
like
players.
Yeah.
It's any sport, like you can't have them negotiating huge deals. Again, you want their input. They are what makes the product. They are the product. So you got to get their input. But I don't know. Like do they know the ins and outs of a negotiation like this? I would say probably not.
And also they are changing. The players who are important are constantly changing, right? Like Tiger, Spieth, Cantlay, like who's to say in 2 years that they're not, 100th in the world or whatever it is. And I understand that they're representing everybody else, but it's like, they are not the constant piece here. They are not going to, like the
sure.
players and what's good for the players is going to change as time goes on.
I mean, I think you guys are kind of discrediting every other sport has like players unions that like legitimately go into lockout. Like the NHL's gone into like 3 lockouts in the last 20 years. They just don't even start the season, right? Like yeah. NHL had a 50-game season a couple years ago. It's like,
but if you're at a
baseball
stalemate for
almost
this
didn't
long,
play.
But if the stalemate has lasted this long, at a certain point, you got to be like, all right, this isn't working.
No, I know, but I think, I think like what the other sports were able to achieve was they literally just didn't show up, and golfers are not doing that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't show up. Hockey just didn't start. Baseball didn't start. We almost just didn't have these sports. The NFL almost like guys sit out all the time. They're arguing based off a lot of things like minimum salaries and extensions and how almost
well,
all
that's
the
the
same
thing too.
stuff,
With
I would
those other
assume.
sports, there's a clear goal. It's like there's a collective bargaining agreement that we need to have it be successful, and we all agree on these terms, like you're saying, minimum wage and all that. This golf is every guy for himself, and also now we're trying to bring everybody together to make this deal. It's a mess in that way.
Yeah, we've talked about it so much that it makes me nauseous. I mean, there's gonna be people that just get fucked in the end, and I don't know why they don't just cut to the end just cut to the chase. Like, it's just, if you like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Are 20 golfers on the PGA Tour just like gonna quit? You know what I mean? Like, what's the bad end game here if you just let these guys back? Guys are gonna get mad and upset. Are they gonna cry? I don't know. Like, what's the biggest? It's a business deal. People get mergers in business, and people get fired and laid off. Like, this is the real world now, guys. Right? Like, I understand that you've earned your way into the PGA Tour, but like, business came in the way, and like, we needed to figure out a new way, and you're just like fired now. You know what I mean? I don't know what the answer is, but like, I think it's got to be that.
When Danny's like, the players, it's player driven, and players have a lot of power. The guys in power are like, we are not doing that. We're not letting that happen. They are the ones in the room saying, we're not going to let these guys back. And they happen to be right now the guys who have the most power for whatever reason that is. They're kicking the guys off who feel differently about it. So if you had a head who was just like, we're going to make these decisions, and there's going to be some hard times and some hard truth, that's just the way that it is. That doesn't exist in this current policy board.
So like, if you're going to compare the NHL and like the MLB to PGA Tour, would it have to be the actual tour that goes on strike? Like, let's say the tour wants to get this done with LIV, and they just like, they're done with it.
But who is the tour? Who is the tour?
Like Monahan, just the governing body of like who would end up signing this deal, right? Like, there's got to be someone higher or is there not?
Well, that's the whole problem. There's no one in charge, I don't think.
Right.
Like, it's just, they have these independent directors who are in charge, or who are supposed to be the guy, and they just keep resigning.
Right. Like, those other players associations, they have presidents. There's a there's an MLBPA president. There's an NBA Players Association.
But also,
president.
there's a commissioner that they deal with. There's a commissioner that they deal with that makes the final decision, right? I would assume. I mean, they do go to court, and then there's like an arbitrator that decides on like what the right decision is. But like, I'm trying to think. Like, I was just thinking, like, let's say the PGA Tour has like a team, a Monahan type deal that would be able to make the final decision, and would they be able to say, all right, we're canceling tournaments until we get this done? No PGA Tour, you guys aren't going to make a single dollar until you sign this deal. Is that like ever been a part of the playbook going forward? Can anyone do that? Can these tournaments just like not go off?
It would be unlike anything that's ever happened before. It's right. There is precedent for strikes in other sports, and like you said, there's unions, but these guys are all independent contractors. There's no union. You know, they're not bound by union, you know, responsibilities. They can do whatever. Like, one guy can decide to not play, but then he's at a competitive disadvantage for anybody else. So it's just a bit of a collective action problem where there's no singular body that is like, if think about this from the Saudis' perspective, you're like, who the fuck am I dealing with here?
Right.
Like, first it was Jay Monahan, then it was Jimmy Dunn, you know, now it's, you know, the players and the other guy. They're probably just like, I don't even know where to begin to make this deal. The people in the room keep on changing.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I just don't know enough about like the power hierarchy and what's the pyramid, you know, like who's at the top, and like who did this Boston sport, like who did this Fenway Sports Group like even give this money to? Like, is it those top players like that now have this equity in the PGA? Like, who is that deal with?
Yeah, I mean, it's with this new PGA Tour Enterprises, which they're still deciding how they're going to structure and stuff. And I'm sure that those guys are in the room, and yeah, it's a total mess. And we're just going to keep going in circles because there's really no answer. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so when you want to talk about a company that has cornered the golf market, I'm thinking straight to the golf cart stand. I'm thinking EasyGo. When you see an EasyGo golf cart, you're like, of course. It's just, you know, you need a golf ball, you need a golf club, you also need an EasyGo golf cart. That's just like, they go hand in hand.
At the Classic, you know, it stops people in their tracks. That commissioner's cart that Riggs has got.
Oh yeah.
I think that's kind of a goal. Like, that's a lot. That's kind of my goal in life, is to at some point have some sort of property where I can just drive my fucking EasyGo golf cart all around and just be happy days and just live in that thing.
Easy go. Once you get in it, like you're saying, and you see it, you'll get it. And there's a reason why this feels like a luxury. And you live in these communities and you see all these people driving these golf carts. The Easy Go is just, once you drive one, you'll understand why it's so much better. Whether you're on the course or you're in the neighborhood, Easy Go has lifestyle designed golf carts that propel your go however you go. High quality vehicles made in Augusta, Georgia. Their elite lithium powertrain powered by Samsung number one in efficiency, charges 2 times faster than other batteries, and are zero maintenance. These golf carts are highly customizable and they empower you to optimize your ride. You can change whatever you want, the trims, however you like it. We see Riggs's down in Pinehurst. He's got that Easy Go. He just wrapped it in a nice green. It's beautiful. You can build your own at easygo.com with endless options of colors, seats, accessories. It goes on and on and on. And with Easy Go, it's always good to go. I'm telling you right now, build your dream Easy Go golf cart and get $1,000 off when you request a quote with code fore-play. That's FOREPLAY at easygo.com. Go check out the website, make your trims, make your options, choose your colors, choose your seats, choose your accessories. Easygo.com, code fore-play, $1,000 off. You know what's not a mess is we're dropping our pickleball merchandise today, and it's a shameless plug. I'm wearing it all.
No,
we're dropping it all Thursday morning. It's good. I think it's going to do well. We put a lot of effort into it. Something that we did not rush. We could have easily just tossed a million different things out when we launched the tour, which ended up doing really well, which is coming up next week in Chicago. But yeah, we've got really, really good logo. We don't have a name for this guy yet. I wish I did. I just don't have a name for him, but the stuff's really great. I'm telling you right now, like it's just like very, very casual, wearable stuff. And we also have things that you can wear while you're playing pickleball. So check out the website and make sure you support the new brand. It's such a small, like different little division of Barstool merchandise and something that we're trying to build up. And if you are like a pickleball, tennis type of racket sport player, would love for you to support it. I think I want to see, I think we're going to see a lot of these at, around. I think it's just like, I love this type of gear where it's like sporty, but it's also, you can just wear it anywhere. I love that shit. Hoodies and these types of 47 hats are the best. So make sure you go check it out.
Yeah, the stuff's incredible.
Check it out. Lost in the PGA Shuffle were 2 very popular winners on other tours. We had Nelly Korda won again at Liberty National, TaylorMade athlete, QI10. She's now won 6 tournaments in 7 starts. So I'm screaming this from the mountaintops. Nelly Korda is on an unbelievable, insane run, like insane. And the U.S. Women's Open, which is the biggest tournament in women's golf and women's professional golf, is not this week, but next week at Lancaster Country Club. It's the same week as the Memorial, so it'll be a loaded golf week. But Nelly is she's doing everything she possibly. 6 wins in 7 starts. And it was a little bit of a shame that it was the same day as the PGA. But this woman she's on a run that we've never seen, in many, 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 many years. And she's young and she's American and she's got this beautiful swing. So I'm yelling this from the mountaintops. Watch the U.S. Women's Open. Watch Nelly Korda. She's incredible. The product is pretty good. There's no debates about the golf courses being too short because they can go to any golf course in the world. There's a lot of stuff about the women's game that is, kind of good for TV. They don't hit it 375 yards. So it's actually like you can pick something up from watching them in their tempo. It's not like they're hitting shots that you just can't possibly hit. But yeah, Nelly's going to be going for 7 wins and 8. How many times is she going to win this year? She could win 10 times this year easily.
If she wins 10 times, that'd really be something. I mean, it's already something, but
what happened to Rose Zhang? Wasn't she like a player that like everyone like couldn't believe how good she was? She was going to take over LPGA. Like, is Nelly just like silenced that?
What happened at the last tournament where everybody got sick?
So 2 answers to your question, which are incredible answers. Number 1, Rose Zhang won the tournament before. And number 2, Rose Zhang was one of the people who withdrew from getting sick.
That's why I saw it. That's why I was asking, because there was like 10 women that got sick and they all withdrew.
Yeah, so there were 10 withdrawals from the tournament last weekend at Liberty National. So right in the shadows of New York City. And it was funny because the LPGA, they tweet out every time that someone withdraws, and it was just 10 tweets in a row of this person withdrawing. Everyone's like, what's going on here? Yeah, I guess there was like some stomach virus or some sort of virus that went along, and the ladies were dropping like flies last week.
Damn. But I think Rose Zhang is still like, she's a serious problem out there.
Yeah, she's got 2 wins. Like, she's a rookie. She's number 6 in the world. I'm looking at right now. Number 7 in the world. So yeah, she's on the ascending for sure. She'll be someone to watch at the U.S. Women's Open as well. And then the other winner was Harry Higgs.
Yeah.
Harry, Did you guys see that? Harry Higgs won on the Korn Ferry Tour. You guys go way back with Harry, don't you?
We've done a bunch of videos with Harry. He's just the nicest guy in the world. Very affable, very funny. Yeah, we love Harry Higgs on this program, and I'm very happy that he got a win.
Yeah, he talked about, it's a humbling experience. He went from being, one of kind of a crowd favorite on the PGA Tour, with his look of the open collar and the sunglasses and just kind of looking like someone you might see in your Saturday game on the PGA Tour, very popular, to he lost his card. And, that's a very humbling experience for people. Sort of similar to Billy Horschel, having to go play opposite field events. Like, golf will humble you. There's no guarantee that just because you've had a moment that you're going to continue to have a moment. If you don't shoot the scores, eventually you fall. So that clip of that chip in that he had a chip in eagle,
amazing,
on the 18th hole to get into the playoff to beat a Monday qualifier. So that Monday qualifier almost did the impossible, which is Monday qualify and win. But basically guaranteed his return to the PGA Tour next year, and he earned it. So that's got to feel, and he was like in tears. He's like, I feel really gratified right now because I've put in a ton of work on this, and it's been difficult and it's been humbling. But I got it done. So it was nice to see Harry win.
He was a guy who we sat down, interviewed him in person, and we were like, we just need like 15 minutes if you can just hop on. He was on for an hour and a half. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. Yep. You just learn how much these guys care and how hard they work and how hard it is to win on any professional tour. And just to have a guy like that being up and down, losing his card, there's so many guys out there like him who work so hard, think about the game so much, and still you can slide a little bit. And now you're on the Korn Ferry Tour, but then they rise again. So if you haven't listened to that interview, it's a couple of years ago now, but listen to Harry Higgs on this podcast and you'll get a look into just how hard it is to be a PGA Tour player and how hard these guys work at being a PGA Tour player. He's incredible.
Yeah, and you can even look at our guy Alistair. He was on top of the world. He was in his PGA event, gets all that money, super excited, goes back to the Korn Ferry Tour in his first event back. He's leading the tournament after 2 days, I believe it was, going into the weekend, and then just shoots like a 73, 74, ends up like way down on the leaderboard. It's so hard to just stay consistent and just keep this thing rolling, right? Like he went out there and just fired. He's still got all that momentum, and then just something happens on Saturday, Sunday. You just don't have it every single day. And that's what happened to Harry Higgs. Like, Harry Higgs has a PGA Tour winning type of game inside his body somewhere. He's proven it. He has been there. And then you just like lose it, man. I mean, it's one of the more common things that you can see out there. It's very uncommon to keep it going, right?
Well, that's what makes the Nellys and the Scotties of the world so unbelievable.
Yeah, no, what else is unbelievable is Alex Bush has Closest to the Pin today. Closest to the Pin is brought to you by Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. For us, golf is simple. It's a chance to get out and have some fun with our friends, but inevitably, little things have a way of ruining it, like the group ahead of you is taking forever. You can't find your way to the next tee box. The bev cart is nowhere to be found. When you find yourself stressing out like this on the golf course, Fireball Whiskey is there to help. The Fireball 50 milliliter shooters, those little nips, you rip the nip, they are perfect for the golf course. You sneak a bunch in your bag out there, and you're always going to be ready. They are the easiest thing to ever have in your golf bag. You just pull them out. We have a video out on YouTube and on Rumble right now for Fireball, where essentially we opened up Fat Perez as a mulligan celebrity shot guy, but we had to take a Fireball 50 milliliter shooter to unlock him. So that was a lot of fun. That's on all those channels right now. And make sure that you go get Fireball if you're feeling like upping the ante on the golf course this weekend. Make sure to go grab the new Fireball Birdie Shot Club. It's literally a golf club filled with Fireball nips. Real quick before we get to Close to the Pin, I want to say that ever since our Sazerac tour of their Buffalo Trace Distillery, I have found that my conversation at dinner and like at places like this where I'm on vacation with my wife's family and we're sitting around. They're huge whiskey drinkers and they've got a whole wine wall. Phenomenal house I'm in right now, by the way. Like just everything's top tier. You go to the bar, you look at these things, huge bottles, 1942. It's crazy. And I'm like bringing all this knowledge now, right? I'm telling that story about where Bourbon, Virginia started and they brought in those barrels of that white, what was it called? White dog, and they bring it down to New Orleans. And by the time it got there 8 months later down the Mississippi River, it was aged and a little bit tinted. And they're like, what is this? We want more of that bourbon town drink. And then it starts to move down to Kentucky and like what makes a bourbon? You have to be made in Kentucky. It has to be 51% corn. Yeah, it's just like, I'm really just throwing fire. And then I'm telling them about the secret rooms at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. And they're like, there's no way. And it's just, it just goes to show that if you pay attention on some of these tours and you really start to soak it all in, it's valuable information. Like people are sitting on the edge of their seats. People want to know history about the thing that they're sitting there drinking. You know what I mean? Like that's really, really cool.
It's dinner party shout out to them. Fodder.
Yes. I'm firing stuff at them like fireballs. And then after we do Close to the Pin, I want to ask you guys a question. Did you guys do the Daily Dozen yesterday?
I did not
do the Daily Dozen yesterday.
Might have.
Well, there's a question on there that we went 8. We were 8 for 8 at one point at dinner last night. And we had an MLB question and we had 12 people at the table. I have it. Do you want it right now?
Let's save it.
All right, we'll save it. It drove us crazy. We just couldn't think of it. And when I heard his name, I wanted to punch a hole in the wall. I just want to know if you guys feel the same way. So we're going to get to Close to the Pin, presented by Fireball. Alex Bush, you are the presenter of the questions this week. Please give us a updated standings update and then proceed with your questions.
All right. So last week, our first question is a little bit of we didn't know at the time. Scottie Scheffler's round 3 score. We thought it was all going to be because of no Ted Scott, but there was a little more.
Of Fame. Yeah, we thought there was adversity coming his way on Saturday.
We had no fucking clue. Scottie Scheffler's round 3 score, pretty much all of us said 68 or 67. It was 73. So.
Well, we were on it because his other 3 scores were what, like 67, 65, exactly. 66.
The first over par round for him in a year. How are we supposed to see that coming?
Which I do want to go back and say, I said, like, I think it affected him a lot, the arrest, and a lot of people tweeted me. It's like, it was just Ted Scott not being there. And because of the arrest and because of everything that happened, he needed Ted Scott that day even more than just giving him the right club, the right yardages, the right conversations. Like, he needed his guy that he falls on that clearly talks the same language as him, clearly can get into like his inner core. Yeah. He needed him badly.
When the tour chaplain, I think his name is Brad, when he agreed to be his caddy for Saturday, this is fucking not what he signed up for.
No.
Dude, it was also funny.
They leaned on the power of prayer strongly.
Dude, like what he's like, yeah, it's gonna be great. You know, he's gonna be by the lead, he's gonna be in great spirits. He's like, I gotta. What do you think he was thinking to himself after Scottie started with like bogey double? He's like, what the fuck am I gonna say?
Dude, also, God's phone was ringing off the hook that day. They were calling him for everything.
I watched that whole round, and you could tell he played with Mark Hubbard, who we've had on the show, and is very chatty and a very nice guy. I feel like Scottie talked more to Hubbard because he wasn't really he was talking a little bit to the chaplain, but I feel like the moments when he would have been talking to Ted Scott, Scottie was just like, all right, I'm going to talk to Mark Hubbard, and that's not as conducive to a good round of golf. So it was just a whole mess that Saturday, and he shot a 73, so that was tough.
But who gets the points?
So Riggs, Dan, and I all said 68. Frankie and Trent said 67. So we take the point.
That's pathetic.
There. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Number of club pros to make the cut at the PGA Championship. You guys laughed at me for taking 2, and it was 2.
I think I said 2 too, didn't I, Bush?
You said 1.
Fuck.
Everyone else said 0.
Blocky. One of the tour pros, Braden Shattuck, 29 years old. He was the low club pro, and then he drove 11 hours through the night back to Philly to play in a Philly section event. He shot no sleep, bogey free 63 and 1. So stay hot. Can you imagine if Blocky did that? The internet would be on fire.
Serious?
You serious?
Me? No sleep?
You serious?
Come on. Bogey free?
The memes, by the way, the memes were so good of the one Blocky clip of the inmates in the Louisville jail the next morning knowing they got paired up with Scottie Scheffler in their jail cell, and it was Blocky just being like, "You serious?"
The other best one I saw was it was like a fake quote card, and it was like Michael Block. If I could drive like Scotty, I'd be in jail too.
And
All right.
the unfortunate thing is, like, I think Blocky's a nice guy. I don't really know him at all, but I would imagine he's just got caught up in this whole thing where he is now the go-to meme for all of golf, and it just is that's the way that it is.
I just think, and we talked about this after we had him on the show. I just think he talked too much. He got on way too many podcasts. We saw way too much of him. He was supposed to be this like glimmer of light that shot right past you, and you're like, whoa, that guy just somehow made a run at the PGA, and now he's just he's coaching all the way out there in California. But then we started learning about like his fees, and then and how he actually
his big mistake was, what did he
pieces.
say? He was like, if I had Rory's driver distance,
Yeah,
I would be like a major champion, or something. It was something
correct.
crazy.
And then just too many quotes and too many shows, and good on good
DJ
for having
Khaled
him
told
now.
him
Like
to never. DJ Khaled told him to not say no to anything.
yeah, he
All
just
right.
was all over the place. And yeah, I'm sure he's a great guy. He was a great guy on our show, but you could kind of see, we got him the day after. You could kind of see like it was starting to already seep in, where I was like, dude, you're amazing. He's like, I've been here, bro. Like I was like, all right.
That's what I
All right,
do,
Blocky.
dog.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right.
Okay, third one. This one I need input from Frankie and Dan on this one. I was
I know
talking
what this
to
is.
Trent about this one. So, Tiger Woods finishing position. 4 of us took specific numbers. Trent just said miscut. Does he get 2 points?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
Really?
do you mean? That's yeah.
That is
I
his
said
finishing
Because we
position.
picked
I s-
specific positions.
I
He gets
said in the
everything.
question, I said you can choose miscut.
All right.
There you go. Alex Bush was
No, 'cause
in
by
my asshole at the
picking
office
a-
yesterday about that.
By picking a position, we're saying he's going to make the cut.
Yeah, but like if we pick 21st and he's 22nd, we get 1 point. But if Trent says miscut, he could be one shot
Should've
off
said
or
miscut.
dead last.
I read.
All right.
That's what I said to him. I
That's
also
fair.
said everyone had the option to say miscut.
That's fair.
Correct.
That's fair. Okay. So
Because
Trent
isn't
gets
that technically your finishing position, or do you like?
Yes.
Yeah,
do they throw
technically
you
is.
into a?
No.
No,
Yeah.
he missed
Yeah,
the
it just
cut.
says
There's
cut.
no number
Yep.
attached. Yeah.
I have deja vu. It's the exact conversation I had with Alex Bush yesterday, and he was like, "No, you get one." I'm like,
I was like, I think you should get one. Okay. All right.
"Oh, I'm drinking
And-
Mountain Dew. How many Mountain Dews you had today?"
0.
Okay.
Low Canadian in the field, Corey Connors. So Frankie, Trent, and I do we get 2 points then? Because it's just a name, not a number.
Are you fucking like
Okay,
dumb
no,
or
no, this
something?
is different.
It was a 1 out of 6 chance he picked the right guy. Like what? You're just deciding everyone gets 1 point today.
I was just confirming. Dan's the first one to do just a name, not a number when it's closest to the pin. Just making sure. Okay.
I said that there was going to be a lot of opportunity for 2 points, and I'm happy for my friend.
Going
Totally
forward,
fine.
it doesn't have to be this one because he's not prepared. But going forward, Alex Bush needs to show his coward face when he does this segment with us, because we can't even look him in the eyes when he's being an idiot. So I'm not going to put you on the spot now because you probably have like fucking gravy all over you or something. But at the end of the day,
Gravy?
on the next
Alex Bush
in the
just
next-
shirtless, covered in gravy.
He's like
In the-
in the end of Dodgeball. He's like the guy with all the chicken. He's
Yeah,
like,
Oh my god.
fuck you, Chuck Norris.
Fuck you, Chuck Norris.
That's very funny.
That's gotta be a requirement, because you can't be firing up the leaderboards and you're just this faceless voice that's just behind the darkness.
Oh my god.
I
All
agree.
right. All right. That's totally fair.
All right, so what
okay,
are the standings
so-
now?
So standings now, we have Trent Ryan first place with 30 points. Then
Wow.
Riggs 23, Dan 22, Frankie 21, Alex 18.
So are we going to do this are we going to do like one final close to the pin December 28th or whatever, and then like we'll know the answer, we'll know the final 2024 close to the pin winner,
And then
we're going to do
reset the
each year,
scores?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, reset the scores.
Did we start that this year or last year? I thought we started last year. Or am I wrong?
Oh, did we start it last year?
definitely last year.
Yeah. The first one was when you were in Italy. So
Oh, shit.
So maybe we run through. Maybe we just do 1 year, because that's sort of like the golf season. Like we could do September to September.
All right, so
and
we'll just
then
call it
we're off.
season 1 close to the pin.
Yeah.
we could do that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So it'll be sometime in October. Get ready for the season with the official sunglasses brand of Barstool Sports, Shady Rays. I'm out here in Colorado. I think they say this is the sunniest state in all of the United States. I think it gets the most
you really
sun.
need sunglasses up there because you're close to the sun. The UV is extremely strong.
Yeah, they call Florida the Sunshine State, but I'm pretty sure that Colorado gets more days out of 365 years of sun than any other state. I could be wrong, but you guys have to fact check that for me. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered with their newest and boldest premium polarized shades. They're kicking off their most anticipated release of 2024 with a limited edition debut of their Rival collection. This is a new single lens style in Barstool Blue with a premium Stool and Stars lens etch. And if you're looking for something more casual, the classics are also getting the Barstool treatment. Both of these styles are perfect for all day, everyday comfort and performance. They have hundreds of options for you to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair of glasses for your style. And if you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return them worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. So head over to shadyrays.com and use code 4 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's shadyrays.com. Use code 4, F-O-R-E, for 35% off polarized sunglasses.
Okay, so this week, you talk about Blocky. Michael Block's score in round 1, he's playing this week, of Charles Schwab Challenge.
What's the par?
I do not know. Do you
Why
know
don't
that?
you get the fucking gravy off your face and do a little research?
I mean, I was about to give you a lot of stats, but you don't need to.
Wait, you asked for the first
round?
round?
All you need is fucking par. Yeah, first round. I was about to tell you, his scores last.
Give us what you got.
Okay, thank you, Dan. 3 events this year, 3 missed cuts, 72, 71, 67 at American Express. Farmers, 69, 76. PGA, 76, 73. And then last year at Charles Schwab, 81, 74.
81?
I've heard enough.
He shot 80. Was that the week after next year, too? He shot 81 the first round.
Yeah, it was the week after.
The PGA? Jesus.
Yep.
I'm in.
I'm in as well.
Frankie, 70. Trent, 73. Dan, 73. Alex, 78.
Wow. Is he going to be famous forever? I think he might be. I think because it's been a year now, and I think it's just like he's the guy.
Well, and he also, like we were talking about earlier, he did enough to make enough memes where you would do. That's where you live forever with memes. That will carry on his legacy forever.
Like he's always going to be like it'll be 10 years from now, and it'll be the PGA Championship, and there will be Blocky memes for sure. Right.
The spin, once he spun around, that put him in the history books forever.
I just fucked up my mic. My bad.
Forever. All right, next one.
Question 2. Game 1, Rangers and Panthers is tonight as we're recording, yesterday as this comes out. So game 2, Friday, Eastern Conference Final. Combined shots on goal for the Rangers and Panthers.
Just a quick timeout, and I don't want to send this thing off the rails, but can we get a quick look into Frankie Borelli's headspace as the Rangers play the Eastern Conference
Final? Is this like a high level of concern?
Panthers are good, though.
The Panthers are good. The Rangers on DraftKings Sportsbook are the least favorite to win the Stanley Cup still. I think they're at 4-1. They've got
keep clinging to
Panthers at 2-1. Yeah, no, I'm holding on to everything I can get right now, and I'm also holding on to the fact that people think that the Rangers are New York's team. The whole city's behind them. I would argue that the Islanders have been the closest to a championship in the last 10 years in New York. They were 60 minutes away from the Stanley Cup Finals. They got to Game 7. The Rangers have not in the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll see. We'll see if they can get closer than the Islanders 3 years ago. I'm obviously butthurt. I'm a huge pussy when it comes to rooting against the Rangers. I've been doing it my whole life. I sometimes like to root against them more than I like to root for the Islanders. It's been bad, man. And I'm out here with my father-in-law for the whole shebang. I'm on the road for 3 weeks. I might be out here until the Stanley Cup Finals end. I'm out in Colorado for a week and a half. I'm in Chicago for a week, and then we're on the road. So I can't get my bearings under me. They're just fucking hitting me they got body shots on me. They got chin music on me. I just can't get my footing. I can't get my footing on the ground. The Rangers just won't stop, but we'll see what happens tonight. We'll fucking see. I need the Panthers to be the Panthers. I can't have it be another thing where it's like, wow, they're just not doing it this week. I can't have that.
I saw Brennan Jones in the office yesterday wearing a crisp new New York Rangers hat. He's ready to go.
It's bad. It's really bad. But listen, there's 4 teams that can win. They're halfway there. It feels like an eternity that they've been in the playoffs, and it has been. It's bad. I'm not going to deny they are a good team. I'm not afraid to say that.
That's big of you.
Yeah, nice. Congrats.
There's no denying it. I mean, they like that game that they won against Carolina where they came back and fucking, I was cocky when Carolina was up in that game, in game 6. Real
was it
cocky.
3-2 in the third?
Yeah, it was 3-1, I think.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yep. It was 3-1. And then Kreider had a natural hat trick in the third period, like history making shit. Like throw him up in the rafters type of performance. So not easy, not good. And I hate Kreider, probably my least favorite player in the league. So it is what it is. It's fine.
Can we get a couple
stats? We'll get to this question, though.
Yeah, I was going to give you stats. Dan
Please.
just jumped the gun there. But, this postseason, Rangers are averaging 26.1 shots on goal. Panthers, 33 this postseason.
Jesus. It's a lot of shots.
So it's combined.
So
game
combined
2.
between both teams in game 2. Yep.
Yeah, Panthers are a good team.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. You were in a bit of a pickle because you hated the Hurricanes from what they did to the Islanders.
I fucking hate Hurricanes fans, man. I mean, they're so cocky, and they're just, like I said on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, there were a bunch of New Yorkers that couldn't take the heat up here, and they're like, sorry that we went down south for not to pay crazy taxes and have more property. It's like, I don't give a fuck what your reasoning was. You left New York, you left New Jersey, you left all these places. You went down to the Carolinas. You did have a nice, easier life. I'm not that's fine. Whatever your reasoning, I don't give a fuck what it is. But you also abandoned your roots and your teams. We're talking history of rooting for sports, and you're telling me that if North Carolina has like 50% out of state people in it, all those people just abandon their teams, their grandfather's teams, their father. Come on now. Great fan base. They pack the place out, but they're fucking frauds, man. I live with my team.
We were onto something when we were accusing them of rooting for a natural disaster. That felt good. I like that. I like that angle.
They are a natural disaster. They kill people.
It's true.
Total shots on goal. Dan, 49. Frankie, 71. Trent, 74. Alex, 61.
I love where I'm at. I love being the low guy. It's great.
49 would be crazy.
Defensive struggle, baby. Have I analyzed
honestly, yeah, I could see it. Like one
no,
team
you just
has
took
like
it before I gave you the
31,
stat.
the other team has like 19. I could see it, man. I can see it.
That's electric that there's that many shots on goal in a hockey game. The goalie's got to be the most fun position to play. Or maybe, is it like a thing where it's like, because in soccer, the goalie, he doesn't really get all that much credit when they win, but he gets hammered when they lose. Is it the same in hockey, or can the goalie be like the hero?
No, it depends. Like goalies are, especially in the playoffs, they're the guys. But if a guy gives up 4 or 5 goals and the defense played terribly, they'll give him a pass. They'll say like, what was he supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like sometimes
so it's a good position.
Such an onslaught. If you give up 4 goals, but you saw 55 shots, they're like, he made 51 saves. I don't know what more you want from it. Like, what you shouldn't have given up that many shots. You got to get more bodies in front of him. You got to block more shots. Like something went wrong ahead of him. So it's a good spot to be, but you can also get blamed if you give up a soft goal. It's just the hockey fans. Like if you're a knowledgeable hockey fan, you'll look for why that guy got open as opposed to like why the guy gave up the goal. Like, why was it a 2-on-1? Why was it a breakaway? Like, it's not really that goalie's fault. So
got it. Good position to play then.
Yeah, they're psychos.
All right. Next question. Sorry. Had to move.
Get more gravy.
Nope. No, there's something going on outside.
Like the microwave went off. I got to go get that gravy.
No, I didn't want that fucking what's it called? What's it called? Vacuum going off in the hallway.
Yeah, one of those vacuums are going off, but his fucking stomach's a vacuum for gravy.
Hold on, I gotta go ladle some more gravy into this bowl.
He's just
Are you drinking straight gravy this morning, dude?
Gravy and Mountain Dew, dude. It's a fucking great combo.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Oh man.
All right, third question. Western Conference Finals, NBA. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Game 2 versus the Mavs. Points in game 2 versus the Mavs on Friday. Last 5, 16, 26, 18, 44, 19.
Well, it's a huge.
He's got all over the place.
Huge,
averaging
delta.
25.9 like all season.
I've jumped on that bandwagon fully, man. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that
He's the
Timberwolves
best.
team and Edwards in particular. Him saying "bring your ass" to Charles Barkley, being like, "I haven't been to Minnesota in 20 years." He's like, "Bring your ass."
I saw that.
He's
They
awesome.
got to change the official. You know how like states have an official like pure Michigan or whatever. Minnesota should just be "bring your ass." That's the tourism board's official pitch.
He's got like an old school feel to him. Like when I watch his press conferences, I see his pictures and even like the clothes he wears. And there's something about his face. He looks like I'm watching like a Michael Jordan era press conference. And like, I don't know, something about it. Next time you watch him, just like you almost feel like you're watching that like late 90s, early 2000s NBA. Not this necessarily the way he plays. He's a fucking balling out there, but like there's something about his presence. Like he's so cocky but confident and backs it up. And it's just like, I don't know. He's not like the Westbrooks showing up in like ridiculous. He's just like, he looks old school, man. There's something about him.
Him talking shit to KD during the Wolves Sun series is like one of my favorite NBA moments of the year. He's just like, I love KD and I get to like beat my idol. That's the coolest shit in the world. He's just a cool guy.
And then oh, how am I blanking? Who'd they beat? Who'd they just beat?
They beat Dallas. Or no, not
Dallas.
No.
Denver.
He said to the security guys outside the locker room, being like, "I'll see y'all for Game 7." Like he knew. That quote was incredible. He's like, "I'll be back. We'll be back. There's no chance you're not going to see me for Game 7."
So cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
Are we in?
Yep, we're all in. Frankie Borelli 22, Dan 34, Trent 27, Alex 23.
Okay.
All right. Finale.
And then the last one, this is one of those future ones, but hopefully it's not too far in the future. I don't think it will be. The date of Scottie's next tournament win.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now you got to make me do some.
No, yeah, we're going to have to do some real research here.
I mean, yeah.
So what do we think his upcoming schedule looks like?
He's playing this week. So he'll play this week. He won't play Canada. He'll play Memorial and US Open.
Oh, man. I can't wait to play golf today.
You're in a fun spot, you know, just like in terms of your game.
The potential is there to have a great day. It's just
you're in that,
awesome.
I'm in that
world
nice?
Where the weather's beautiful, 71 degrees and sunny.
Whew. Perfect.
The potential is there, but it's also the potential to have a bad days out there because you leave a lot out there. If something's off, you're not hitting fairways, you're like, fuck. You shoot an 87, you're like, I could have shot 78 today if I had my game.
When's the last time you shot 87?
At Colonial with my buddies like 3 weeks ago or whenever it was, like maybe a month ago, in the midst of me playing great, I shot 91 and I couldn't keep the ball on the planet. It was wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
It was bad. It was sad to see that was still in me, you know, like that could peak out.
You thought you'd moved past that just as a person. Yeah.
Thought I fucking just like shoved that guy into the water and just waited for the bubbles to stop.
Drown him in gravy.
Yep.
Okay. Frankie Borelli, June 16th. Dan, May 26th. Trent, June 9th. Alex, June 16th.
So you two both have the United States
US Open.
Trent has Memorial. Man. I have this week. I think he's winning this week. I mean, he would have won last week if he didn't get fucking arrested.
He easily could win this week.
Let's see what the odds are. Got to be. I'm gonna see what his odds are this week.
He's got to be like plus 550.
He is plus 275.
What? Yeah. I guess with the field, yeah.
It's the shortest odds I've seen.
Damn, dude.
Since Tiger. For sure. His top 5 is minus 140.
Golly.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a pretty decent field. Scheffler, Morikawa, Homa, Spieth, Finau. It's not horrible.
A good field.
Yeah, I'm just something like we were at Pinehurst and we got a chance to play there. And it's just like I said to Brendan a couple times, like a guy like Scottie can just tear this place apart if you're just straight and you're so dialed in with your yardages on these greens. If you know where to leave these balls, he's going to have such an advantage at Pinehurst over other people.
He's got a little Augusta feel with like the greens and having to hit it in certain spots.
And he knows his yardage to like a millimeter. He is so dialed in with it. If Ted Scott says, I want this 141, he's going to give you 141. And that's going to be so beneficial at Pinehurst. Because guys that hit 143 are going off the back, and it's the turtleback greens are just going to screw them big time. And Scottie's short game is so fucking good.
Dude, he would have won last week if he didn't get arrested. It's that simple. All right, is that it?
That's closest to the pin.
Shout out to
Man, Fireball. I'm going to have some fireballs today for sure.
That relationship's just gotten closer. You can just feel it, us and
Yeah.
Fireball.
Oh, when we met with them, man, something happened in that room for sure.
Yeah.
There was some magic.
You meet with the CEO,
true,
and there really was magic. And I even told our sales guys and the guys who make all these deals happen, like, anytime you want us to go to any of these things, like, I'm all in on that shit. Like, I want to meet these people. We have all these partnerships, all these sponsors.
Dude,
I love, like, going to these places and watching how it's done. Like, these are products that we consume and that we use. Like, all of this, we get to see TaylorMade. We get to see the ins and outs of it, how they make the golf clubs, how do they do it on the tour truck, what goes into making a golf ball. We watched them legitimately make Tiger Woods irons. Remember, like, that was insane, where we got into that room where we couldn't film anymore. Like, we get to see it, and that's why we're so passionate about it. Like, I'm passionately talking about Fireball Cinnamon whiskey for the last like week and a half. It works. Like, you get to see how the magic is made, and like, who knows how much with 2K. I told 2K, hopefully, that we get to do stuff with them again. We're in their video game, right? And like, whenever that next video game comes in, I told them, like, I want to come watch how you do it. Like, how, if we're going to be back in that video game, how are you actually physically making Trent's glasses? Like, if you're 2K and you're making a video golf game, what goes into it? I want to put on the suit. I want to fly up to Nova Scotia, and I want to watch in your studio how you make this game. Because then when I play it and when we get to talk about it, the people that are listening and that are going to be buying your product are actually trusting you. And you're not just reading an ad read. You were there. You got to see it. We got to see how Fireball is made, and we know why it's good, and we know all the work that's put into it. So I'm
going to need a tour of the can. I'm going to need a tour of the can facility. I want to see a massive bucket of pot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
See what I'm saying? How's that THC put in there?
I want to see how that goes down, because like, with those barrels, I want to see a room filled with just pot.
That room's got to smell real nice.
Yes.
Simply say,
Frank, hit me with that.
Get us in that war room. What?
Yeah. I was going to say, hit me with that baseball question, but yeah, get us in every war room in the country.
Summer is all about the freedom to have fun, but you don't need to blow your budget on a trip to make the most of it. Forget a vacation and take a tequila-cation.
Tequila.
With new Truly tequila sodas, this refreshing blend of fruit juice, real fruit juice, from concentrate, sparkling water, and premium tequila blanco is the drink of the summer. We have all of these 4 refreshing new flavors of lime, pineapple, guava, grapefruit, and watermelon. We have them all at the Barstool Classics. They just make the day go by so much easier. It is such a nice, refreshing drink out there on the golf course. I'm going to be having some Truly tequila sodas a lot this week, because we have a graduation party here out in Colorado. We also have the Barstool Classic out here in Colorado, and I am going to golf today in Colorado, where I will be drinking Truly tequila sodas, all with 5% ABV and just 100 calories. Take a tequila-cation with the new Truly tequila soda today. Truly tequila soda, keep it light. Hard seltzer beverage company, Boston, MA. Please drink responsibly. Dude, all right. So we were 8 for 8, going for 9 for 9, the clean sweep, and we came up to this question. Primarily a shortstop, this player made 7 all-star teams, had a 301 batting average, and totaled over 2,200 hits from 2000 to 2012 with the Texas Rangers.
Oh, is it Elvis
Michael
Andrews?
Young?
No, he wouldn't have hit 300.
What'd you say, Dan?
Wasn't there a guy Michael Young or something?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. We couldn't think of fucking Michael Young's name.
It's a very
if there was
name.
a gun to my temple, I would have died. It was never going to come to me. But then once you say it, it was one of those names where it's like, of course.
Yeah, he was a good player.
He was.
Baseball
He
guys
was a
really
good player. He
get
made
forgotten.
7 all-star teams.
Dude,
Yeah.
averaging 301 is no joke.
Yeah.
2,200 hits. It's just that Texas Rangers team in like the 2000 to 2010 was just like nothing.
Well, that was like the Josh Hamilton teams. I think Elvis Andrews was on those teams.
Yeah, just like, to me, like, I don't know. I don't know. It was like the Yankees and the Red Sox. Like, everything about that era to me, like, the Texas Rangers, you know what I mean?
Angels were good for a while.
The Angels were such a battling
Was
team.
Cliff
against
Lee
the-
on those Rangers teams?
Cliff Lee was, and then he went to the Phillies though. Like Cliff Lee had his nice run with the Phillies, I think like 08, 09.
I remember that. Yeah.
Then like A-Rod obviously was on the Rangers, but then went to the Yankees. It's just like, I don't know. Like Michael Young's name just like completely was not in my brain. But yeah, damn, we could have used you last night.
Yeah.
Nothing better than Daily
Coulda
Dozen
used me.
trivia, man. Like again, like go to a distillery so that you have something to talk about at the table, and then pull up Daily Dozen, and it gets everyone going. Everyone, 70-year-olds.
Right.
We had a
do it everywhere.
12-year-old. We had a 12-year-old at the table answer the music question. She's like, "Oh, Ariana Grande." I was like, "This is." I looked around the table. I said, "This is insane."
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like
so fun.
the Big E, Uncle Eric was like answering a question about a book. We got a Russian novelist correct. And then we got Ariana Grande at the other table at the kids' side eating French fries and cheeseburgers. And I looked around, I said, something special's happening here. And then we couldn't think of Michael Young. Like that, dude, I was saying Ian Kinsler. I said, is it Ian Kinsler? And I stood up. I said, is it Ian Kinsler? And they're like, I just don't
He's
think
a second
so.
baseman, though, I guess.
Yeah, but the way that they said primarily a shortstop, I'm like, maybe he went to second after. And then I was thinking Adrian Beltre, because I think he started playing a little shortstop and then he went to third. But then he played for like the Dodgers and yeah.
Did Beltre play shortstop?
I think Adrian
third
Beltre
base.
started his career shortstop, didn't he?
Maybe.
I thought he was third base for the Dodgers, like when he first came up.
But it is fun. Every dinner that we're at, every long Uber ride we have from an airport, when it's all of us together, we do Daily Dozen, and it's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Beltre wasn't a shortstop. You're right. I think that's it for me, guys. I just want to go and play some golf. I want to hit some balls. I want to see how far these things are flying. I'm going to swing soft today. I'm just going to hit fairways. And when I hit fairways, I play really good golf. And I try and hit up on the ball and gain another 10, 15 yards. What's that even getting me? Instead of hitting a 9, let's hit an 8. You know, who cares where you are in the fairway?
Especially today when the ball's going to be going a long way. I'm excited
hitting
for it. It's
pitching
going to be
wedges
fun.
145 today. I'm fine. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's have a day out there. I can't wait. Colorado Golf Club, Alex Jones, not the psycho right wing Alex Jones, but just a regular guy from Nebraska, Alex Jones. Can't wait. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited. I'll see you out here, Trent. We're doing Breaking 90 on Thursday, so that episode will come out soon.
Yep.
Other videos for housekeeping stuff, other videos that we have coming out. I know we have a side gig with Neiman, right?
With Joaquin Neiman, we went to a live event, side gig but louder, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. That's going to get some clicks for sure because who knows? It's going to be the haters. It's going to be the lovers, the followers of live. That's a really good one. And then we also have a video that I filmed. I played from the red tees. We had that debate for a long time. How much better can I play from the forward tees? So we did that at Colonial Springs. We played 18 holes. Brendan Jones went out there. It was a one-man film crew. We're starting to get really good at that. Me and Brendan have filmed 2 solo videos, one at Pinehurst and one at Colonial. And he's throwing up the bird. He's throwing up the drone behind the green and then filming me from behind. So we're getting every single approach shot and he's filming it like Grant Horvat style. We didn't miss a single approach. I was playing really well. So like every ball is going towards the pin. It's going to be a great video. But I do want to say Joel Damon said I wouldn't break 80, and that I think is going to be a big focal point of that video where I was kind of saying "fuck you, Joel" if I was
freezing
playing
cold
good.
take from Joel Damon.
I was on your side and I got hammered, and so it sounds like I was on the right side, and I feel good about.
Well, we'll
that.
see. Who knows? I mean, it's still golf. You're playing from the forward tees, but like, there's a lot of situations where you're like, all right, this is now just a 310 par 4. And like, I'm going to hit one maybe 270 and I still have to like get it on the green and one putt for a birdie. Like this is not, you're not dropping the ball in the hole.
You still got to putt.
You got to putt. You got to hit irons. You got to hit wedges, a lot of wedges, ton of wedges. And your driver has to stay straight. Anyone that knows that at Colonial, Trent, that fucking place is tight. If you're hitting these things in the trees and you're punching out, you might as well be playing from, you might as well drop me in the middle of the fairway hitting 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it doesn't matter where I teed off.
It's tough.
So that's it. I'm talking a lot. We're going to get out of here. Anything else from you guys before we go?
No.
Nope.
No, sir.
All right.
Gravy Man, anything?
Yep. Gravy Man.
Nope. Knockout videos coming out.
Oh, we got to
Saturday.
just clear all that gravy out of your throat.
Yeah, sorry, dude. It's just so much gravy. It's fucking crazy. Knockout video.
This is what you get when your camera's on Saturday. You're Gravy Man.
On the fore-play
on the Plus
podcast
channel.
Plus channel, the knockout video from the chain will be on Saturday. You're saying?
Yes.
Okay. We got that. We got Breaking 90s coming out, and then we have whenever that Breaking 90 comes out that we film tomorrow. We're in a good spot with Breaking 90. The fact that like whatever one we film is the next one's going to come out. Like the people, we have nothing backlogged. Like there's no like waiting. Like everyone's like, oh, like when are you going to release it? It's like, we're going to film it and then we're going to put it out. Like we're in a good spot.
Usually
it's real
within, like,
time
a week
Breaking
it comes
90.
out. Yeah.
Yep. Real time Breaking 90. So that's it. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.